We learned this week that there is a limit to the insouciance, the sang-froid and general laissez-couleur of French President Emmanuel Macron. We learned that Macron had instructed his learned friends to file suit for defamation, or perhaps should we say defamation, against conservative American commentator and idiot Candace Owens, who has persistently made a number of interesting assertions about Macron's missus, aka First Lady of France, Brigitte Macron. We learned, and you may want to strap yourselves in for this, that Owen believes that Madame Macron, a mother of three, was in fact born a man, one Jean-Michel Trogneux, and is actually a blood relative of President Macron, who is himself the product of some variety of CIA mind control endeavour. Not really sure Owens is asserting that Macron, though fundamentally human, has merely been programmed by American spooks, or is some sort of wholesale android being wholly remotely controlled from a bunker at Langley, and to be honest don't care all that much, as this is all obviously quite mad. But we learned that Owens was unrepentant, if incomprehensible.
We are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world.
Speaking on behalf of the entire world, this all sounds like tremendous fun. Good luck with it. And we, for one humorous news review, look forward to a court case which will basically write this thing for us for weeks, as well as furnish ample further opportunity to wheel out that somewhat borderline Gallic outrage chorus we recorded whenever and whyever it was.
Non, vraiment, non.
Actually, wasn't there a thing where we thought we'd lost it and made another one?
Non mais c'est n'importe quoi.
Non mais ils se prennent pour aujourd'hui, ces Américains.
La
statue de liberté, c'est quasiment de culture.
C'est le monde à l'envers.
Sticking anyway with the theme of reasons the French might now be regretting their encouragement of the fledgling United States circa the 1770s, and that the Marquis de Lafayette might be turning, if not weeping, in his tomb. We learned that one 34-time convicted felon had figured out who the real criminal is.
It would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him. And Comey was there, and Clapper, the whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room, right here. This was the room. This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay.
A reference there to the increasing difficulty many are experiencing in telling the Oval Office apart from one of Saddam Hussein's bathrooms. We learned, yes, that President Donald Trump had concluded that his predecessors had connived in a hideous conspiracy.
This was treason. This was every word you can think of.
What, every word?
Carrot,
Chicken,
application,
waterfall,
carpet,
coffee mug,
verification,
burger, sky,
light bulbs.
We digress, although we did learn that Trump himself seemed intent on making a bold stab at saying every number he could think of.
We will have reduced drug prices by 1,000%, by 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 700, 600.
Anyway, we learned that, yes, a former president of the United States had attempted to subvert the constitutional order because they didn't like the way an election had gone, and that President Trump was appalled by this notion, the very possibility of anything of the kind ever transpiring having simply never occurred to him.
They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined.
But we learned that Trump's point person on this, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, an appointment which continues to make as much sense as naming Vin Diesel Director of National Hair, was somewhat struggling to make the case. Possibly because there isn't one, who can say?
It has to do with an outgoing president taking action to manufacture intelligence to undermine and usurp the will of the American people in that election and launch what would be a years-long coup against the incoming President of the United States, Donald Trump.
An outgoing president taking action to undermine and usurp the will of the American people. Sounds dreadful. We learned, or at least found ourselves suspecting, that this flim-flam and, if you will, flummery may have been not altogether unrelated to escalating pressure upon the Trump administration to release possibly scandalous files pertaining to the friendships with powerful personages enjoyed by the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, which, we learned, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson was so grimly determined to get to the bottom of that he sent Congress home for the summer so they couldn't ask any questions about it?
There's no purpose for Congress to push an administration to do something that they're already doing.
Are they, though, Mr. Speaker? Are they? For we learned that the figure at the top of said administration appeared to be frantically engaged in tactics which the flint-hearted skeptic may suspect were intended to distract.
This morning, President Donald Trump is escalating his call for the Washington Commanders to change their name back to the Redskins.
We learned that the president was all back in on reviving the inane culture war brouhaha over whether Washington, D.C.'s NFL team should re-embrace a nickname by which no basically well-adjusted adult conversant with the common courtesies, and possibly not even Donald Trump, would dream of addressing an actual Native American. But if he can't get that up to the gate, the Washington Epsteins is right there. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Miller.